Imagine waking up 30,000 years ago. You crawl out of a small shelter before sunrise. The air is cold. Your skin feels dry from the night. You look at the people around you. Everyone is human. Everyone has roughly the same basic skin structure, but their skin doesn't necessarily feel exactly the same. Some people's skin may feel softer. Some may feel rougher. Some may have thicker skin on their hands. Others may have smoother faces. Some may develop calluses quickly, others may develop them much more slowly. And that raises a surprisingly complicated question. Why do humans have different skin textures? Today, human skin can look and feel remarkably different from person to person. Some people have very smooth skin, some have visible pores, some have oily skin, some have dry skin, some have thick skin, some have naturally coarse skin. Others have extremely soft skin. And these differences can become even more obvious as we age. But here's the strange part. Skin texture isn't controlled by one simple trait. It is the result of an entire biological system working together. Your skin is not just a covering. It is a living organ. It protects you from the outside world. It helps control your temperature. It prevents too much water from escaping your body. It detects touch. It produces sweat, it grows hair, it repairs injuries, and it constantly replaces itself. Every second, your skin is being damaged, repaired, shed, and rebuilt. And the material being rebuilt is surprisingly complex. The outermost layer of your skin is called the epidermis. Beneath it lies the dermis, and underneath that is a layer of fat and connective tissue. Each layer contributes something different to the way your skin looks and feels. The outer layer provides protection. The deeper layers provide strength and flexibility. And together, they create the surface you see in the mirror. But the surface itself is constantly changing. The outermost part of your epidermis contains dead skin cells packed with a tough protein called keratin. These cells form a protective barrier between your body and the environment. Think of it like a microscopic wall. The wall needs to be strong enough to keep harmful substances out, but flexible enough to move with your body. And that balance is different from person to person. Some people naturally produce more oil, others produce less. Some have differences in how quickly their skin sheds dead cells. Others have differences in the thickness and organization of the outer skin layer. Genes influence how much collagen your body produces. They influence how connective tissue develops. They influence how skin cells behave. They influence the activity of glands. And they influence the architecture of your skin. This means part of your skin texture is inherited. You don't choose the basic construction plan. You receive it. But genetics isn't the whole story. Because your skin is constantly interacting with the environment. And one of the biggest influences is something you probably don't think about very often: water. Your skin needs the right amount of water to remain flexible. Too little moisture can make the outer layer become dry and rough. The skin may feel tight. Small lines may become more visible. The surface can become flaky. But moisture doesn't simply come from drinking water. Your skin also has its own system for controlling water loss. The outer layer contains lipids that help keep moisture inside. These fats fill the spaces between skin cells. They create part of the barrier that prevents your body from constantly losing water to the surrounding air. If that barrier becomes less effective, more water escapes, and the skin can become drier. This is one reason skin can feel completely different in different environments. Walk outside during a cold, dry winter, and your skin may feel tight. Spend time somewhere warm and humid, and it may feel softer or more hydrated. The underlying genes didn't suddenly change. The environment changed, and your skin responded. Then there is another system that makes human skin particularly interesting: oil. Your skin contains tiny structures called sebaceous glands. They produce sebum. Sebum is an oily substance that spreads across the surface of your skin. It helps reduce water loss. It also helps keep the skin and hair from becoming excessively dry. But people don't all produce the same amount. Some people naturally produce more sebum, others produce less, and this can influence how their skin looks and feels. More oil can make skin appear shinier, less oil can make it feel drier. And sebum production can change throughout your life. This is one reason a teenager's skin may behave very differently from a child's skin. Hormones can dramatically influence the activity of sebaceous glands. During puberty, hormone levels change. Sebaceous glands can become more active. The skin may become oilier. Pores may appear more noticeable. And some people develop acne. This isn't because their skin suddenly became bad. Their biology simply changed. This same skin can behave completely differently at different stages of life. And that brings us to one of the biggest reasons skin texture changes: age. A baby's skin is not the same as an adult's, and an adult's skin is not the same as an elderly person's. As you grow older, your body gradually produces less collagen. The organization of connective tissue changes. Elastin becomes less effective. The skin becomes thinner in some areas. Oil production may decrease. The ability of the skin to retain moisture can change. And the surface may become rougher or more fragile. This is why the texture of older skin can feel completely different from the texture of young skin. But aging isn't the only thing happening. Your skin is also constantly responding to mechanical forces. Every day, your body experiences friction. Your shoes rub against your feet. Your hands grip objects. Your knees bend. Your elbows rest against surfaces. Your skin is constantly being pushed, stretched, compressed, and rubbed. And when friction becomes intense enough, the skin can respond. One of the most obvious examples is the callus. A callus isn't a completely different type of skin. It's your existing skin responding to repeated mechanical stress. The outer layer becomes thicker, more keratin accumulates. The result is tougher, harder skin. Imagine someone who spends years walking barefoot. Their feet experience repeated contact with the ground. Someone else spends most of their life wearing soft shoes. Their feet experience a completely different mechanical environment. The skin responds accordingly. And this reveals something important. Not every difference in skin texture is caused by evolution. Some differences are created during an individual's lifetime. Your genes provide the starting conditions. Your body develops according to those instructions. But your experiences modify the final result. And humans have been experiencing different mechanical environments for an extremely long time. Ancient humans walked. They climbed. They carried objects. They hunted. They made tools. They handled rough materials. Their hands and feet experienced enormous amounts of physical stress. A prehistoric hunter didn't have the same lifestyle as a modern office worker. One might spend hours carrying tools, gripping weapons, walking across rough terrain, and working with animal hides. The other might spend 8 hours typing on a keyboard. The same species, different mechanical environments, different effects on the skin. But there is another system hiding underneath all of this: sweat. Humans are unusually good at producing sweat. Sweat glands cover much of the body. When your temperature rises, they release fluid onto your skin. That fluid evaporates, and evaporation removes heat. This system was incredibly important for our ancestors, especially during physical activity. Imagine chasing prey across an open landscape. Your muscles generate heat. The sun adds more. Your body temperature begins rising, and your sweat glands start working. Sweat spreads across the surface of your skin. Then the surrounding air carries the heat away. This means your skin isn't passive. It's part of your body's temperature control system. And people can differ in sweat production. The number and activity of sweat glands vary. Hormones influence them. Temperature influences them. Physical activity influences them. Even emotional states can activate certain sweat glands. You can sweat because you're hot. You can sweat because you're exercising. And you can sweat because you're nervous. Different systems, same skin. And that complexity helps explain why no two people have exactly the same skin texture. But what about pores? People often talk about large pores, as if pores were little holes drilled into the skin. They're not. Many visible pores are actually openings associated with hair follicles and sebaceous glands. Their appearance can depend on the size of the follicle, the amount of oil produced, the surrounding skin, and even the way light reflects from the surface. This means two people can have similar skin structures, yet their pores can appear completely different. And then there are hair follicles themselves. Almost every part of your skin is influenced by structures beneath the surface. Hair follicles aren't simply tubes where hair grows. They interact with nerves, they interact with glands, they influence the shape of the skin's surface. They can produce tiny bumps when muscles attached to them contract. You may have experienced this yourself. When you're cold, your hairs can stand up. Your skin develops tiny bumps. We call them goosebumps. Humans inherited this response from ancestors with much more body hair. For a furry animal, raising the hair can make the coat trap more air. For modern humans, the effect is much smaller. Yet the machinery remains. Another reminder that your skin is carrying pieces of evolutionary history that you rarely notice. And evolution also explains why skin differs between different parts of your own body. Look at the palms of your hands. They are different from the skin on your eyelids. Look at the soles of your feet. They are different from the skin on your lips. This isn't random. Different parts of the body experience different jobs. Your fingertips need extraordinary sensitivity. Your palms need to withstand friction. Your feet need to support your entire body. Your eyelids need to move constantly while remaining extremely flexible. Your lips need to move during speech and eating. So evolution didn't produce one identical sheet of skin. It produced specialized skin for different parts of the body. And development reinforces those differences. The skin on your palms and soles becomes much thicker. It also has a unique pattern of ridges. Those ridges create your fingerprints, and fingerprints are another fascinating example of individual variation. Everyone develops them before birth. Even identical twins don't have perfectly identical fingerprints. Their genes provide much of the developmental framework, but tiny differences in conditions inside the womb influence the final pattern. Small variations in pressure, small variations in growth, small variations in timing. The result is a pattern that is uniquely yours. Your fingerprints aren't something evolution designed specifically for identification. They emerged as part of the normal development of the skin on your hands. Humans simply discovered that this variation could be useful for identifying individuals. And that's a recurring theme in biology. A trait doesn't necessarily exist for the reason humans eventually use it. Nature doesn't work backward from our modern purposes. The same thing happens with skin texture. Evolution didn't sit down and decide to create smooth skin or rough skin. It produced biological systems. Those systems interacted with climate, movement, reproduction, development, and chance, and different combinations became common in different populations. But there is another factor we shouldn't ignore: genetic drift. Sometimes a difference becomes common without providing a huge survival advantage. Imagine a small population separated from everyone else. Only a limited number of people contribute genes to the next generation. A rare genetic variant happens to be present. Their descendants inherit it. Generation after generation, the variant becomes more common. Not because it was necessarily better, simply because the population was small, and inheritance is partly a game of probability. Over thousands of generations, chance can leave a surprisingly large mark. This means some differences in human skin may have no dramatic evolutionary purpose at all. They may simply be variations that survived. And that's important because humans often assume every visible trait must have a specific function. Biology isn't always that neat. Some traits are adaptations, some are side effects, some are neutral variations, and some are combinations of all three. Skin texture is a perfect example. Your skin is the result of genetics, development, hormones, age, environment, mechanical stress, and countless tiny biological processes happening simultaneously. And the story doesn't stop there. Modern life has introduced environments our ancestors never experienced. We spend hours indoors. We wash our skin frequently. We use soap. We use cosmetics. We spend time in heated buildings. We sit in air conditioned rooms. We expose our skin to pollutants. We travel between climates within hours. An ancient human might spend their entire life in one region. A modern person can wake up in a cold city, fly across the world, and step into a tropical climate that same day. Your skin suddenly has to deal with completely different humidity, temperature, sunlight, and air conditions. The genes remain the same, the skin responds. And this is why someone can notice their skin behaving differently after moving to another country. Their DNA didn't transform, their environment did. Even diet can influence the condition of your skin. So can sleep, so can stress, so can illness, so can medications. Your skin is constantly receiving signals from the rest of your body. It's connected to everything. Which means skin texture is actually an enormous collection of biological properties. Smoothness, thickness, elasticity, moisture, oiliness, roughness. None of these exists completely independently. They overlap, they interact, and they change. That's why the skin you have at 20 isn't necessarily the skin you'll have at 50, and the skin you have at 50 won't necessarily be the skin you'll have at 80. Your skin protects you, it cools you, it senses the world, it repairs itself, it responds to your environment, and it changes as you change. You don't just wear your skin is constantly responding to the life you're living. And that's why human skin can look and feel so different. Even though underneath all those differences, we're still built from the same basic biological machinery. One species, one ancient origin, millions of different bodies, and billions of unique surfaces shaped by biology, development, environment, and time.